Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline.
And Adam.
At Pixie Dust PhD. We recently got back from our pretty long trip down to Orlando in October of 2023. Today we're going to recap our character experiences. All right, first things first, I did take pretty detailed notes whenever we were meeting characters, and I just wanted to run through quickly when there was a PhotoPass human, when there was a PhotoPass box, or when there wasn't PhotoPass at all. So I've got my list here. When there was a literal PhotoPass cast member, was not actually too bad. So when we did Cinderella's Royal Table, when you first go in, you get to meet Cinderella before you actually go to the restaurant, and there was PhotoPass person there. Mirabel in the Magic Kingdom had one. Both Mickey and Minnie at Hollywood Studios had one. Actually, a lot of the Hollywood Studios characters had one, so most of Pixar Place area too. So we did Edna Mode, Frozone, and Sully. They all had PhotoPass. Max Goof you can meet at Echo Lake again in Hollywood Studios. Over in Animal Kingdom, we did Chippendale. They're like Chipmunkosaurus, like they're still doing the dinosaur costumes, which I love. That had PhotoPass. And then in EPCOT, Jasmine, Mulan, we met Mickey and Minnie together for the 100th. That had PhotoPass, as well as Figment, Moana, and then PhotoPass was also available at the 2 meets we did at the Halloween party. So that was 100 Acre Woods Friends, as well as 7 Dwarves.
I will add that there were a couple other meet and greets we did not do that did have PhotoPass.
For sure, yeah, we didn't hit every single meet and greet, but that's not bad. Like, of the list, that's more than half for sure. And then so the PhotoPass boxes, so there is a nice camera, but it's set in a box. It just sort of takes pictures every 10 seconds or so. I'm not too sure, but it's not like, you know, a cast member, a little human that's zooming in and doing different angles and like catching your genuine interactions. It's a box. So all of Princess Fairy Tale Hall had the boxes. So Cinderella, Elena, Tiana, and Rapunzel. Mickey in Town Square Theater at Magic Kingdom. So Magician Mickey has the box, which is for me extremely disappointing to have Mickey at Magic Kingdom without a PhotoPass cast member, but whatever. Everyone at Pete's Silly Sideshow in Magic Kingdom too, so that's Minnie, Daisy, Goofy, and Donald have the PhotoPass box. At Animal Kingdom, when you meet Mickey and Minnie in their safari gear, they had the PhotoPass box, and at Epcot, both Anna and Elsa had the PhotoPass box. Then we did a few other character meet and greets that didn't have any PhotoPass, so you could use your phone, you could ask the person in line behind you, you could ask the character attendant, or if you have a camera. So that was a lot of the princesses in Epcot. Aurora, Belle, Snow White, and then also Alice for me. And then typically character dining, when you're actually doing the dining, is not gonna have a PhotoPass person. They will have a character attendant. You're welcome to take pictures. We only did one character meal, and that was Cinderella's Royal Table. So when you first enter, you do get a PhotoPass picture from a PhotoPass cast member with Cinderella, but then you go up and you eat your meal and the princesses come out, and that's on you. So for us, that was Merida, Jasmine, Aurora, and Ariel. Aside from PhotoPass, let's talk about a few other experiences. So one thing I did want to highlight was I went around and got autographs on postcards, which I thought was really fun. I know a lot of people will collect them in an autograph book. I don't really have a use for an autograph book, but it was fun to get signatures and send those off to my friends. Worth noting, all of the friends at Star Wars Launch Bay, so Chewie's there, I think Darth Vader's there, maybe sometimes he rotates with Kylo Ren. I'm not a very big Star Wars fan, so I don't really know. And then BB-8, none of them sign autographs. BB-8, I think, is fairly obvious why not. For the others, you know, they're there on a secret mission. They can't be leaving their autographs everywhere with evidence. And another fun thing we did this trip that we've never done before is we made a point of meeting and greeting Mickey and Minnie in every single theme park. So that was just a fun little personal challenge. I don't think also we've ever met them in Hollywood Studios before this trip. And I thought that was really special. So Minnie is like super dressed up in glam, and then at Sorcerer Mickey, they do meet separately, but they're like really great, highly themed areas. Again, there's a PhotoPass human, so that always makes it better.
Same queue as well, if that wasn't clear.
Oh yeah, you go through one queue and you meet Minnie, wait, you meet Mickey, you leave. In the Animal Kingdom, Mickey and Minnie do meet together in their safari outfits, so you get one pic with both of them, which is pretty special and pretty unusual. That is the PhotoPass box, but I did love their outfits, and that line never really seemed like it got crazy long.
Yeah, I feel like there were a lot of other attractions and character meets that were way higher demand.
For sure. Then in Magic Kingdom, they're typically separate. You've got Mickey in Town Square Theater, which we do almost every trip. It's just like a thing that I feel like I need to or want to do. Minnie's back at Pete's Silly Sideshow. She is like a Parisian fashionista, I guess. It's a really cute themed set. And then in Epcot, we had a pretty unusual experience because we got to meet them while they were doing their 100th anniversary meet and greets. They had special outfits and they were meeting together. That's pretty unusual. I think typically you're gonna have to meet them separately in Epcot. Which was your favorite?
I really like the 100 outfits just because they had the PhotoPass person. It felt very special for whatever reason.
Yeah, it was very like glitz and glam, which was fun. I think that was also my favorite of this trip is the EPCOT Mickey and Minnie meet and greet that they were doing for the 100th, knowing that that isn't typically there of the standard meet and greet. I was really charmed by the Hollywood Studios one, actually. I was surprised how much I liked it.
Yeah, Sorcerer Mickey was fun.
Sorcerer Mickey was really cool. Speaking of those Mickey and Minnie meet and greets, if you are heading to meet Minnie in the Magic Kingdom, try to be first in line. Something pretty special happens. When we were in Magic Kingdom, that meet and greet started at 10 a.m. I lined up probably around 9:45, like not terribly early, but it was, you know, closed off, doors were closed, no one was hanging around. And I was like, well, it's not like we can squeak anything else in this time, so let's just wait.
Yeah, we were all the way back at the back of the park because we had just done Tron. And if you're not familiar, it's very much in the very back corner of the park. It's connected to the Fun Kids area, and we figured, hey, let's post up and wait for this to open and check this meet and greet off the list.
Yeah, so back in Storybook Circus. So I hung around and waited. By the time it was about opening, there was, I don't know, 5 or 6 other parties waiting. It was a very small crowd, but the coolest thing happened. So there are actual doors that are closed, and there's 2 sides. One side is Daisy and Minnie, and one side is Donald and Goofy, and I really wanted to meet Minnie, so I was sort of lined up over on that side. And right at 10 a.m., inside the door, so you're standing on the outside, inside the doors, the characters are, they're like pounding on the door and like stomping their feet a little bit. It's so exciting. And then they, pew, and the doors open and there they are looking all fabulous. And then the first person, I think probably on each side, I wasn't paying attention to what was happening on the other side.
They did do it on the other side.
Okay, yeah. Me, the first person in line for Minnie and Daisy, they like take your hand and like walk you through the queue and point out all the cute stuff while you're going around. It was like, yeah, it was so special, in my opinion. I think stuff like that happens at Disneyland with the wandering characters more frequently, but at Disney World, and especially for me, like being an adult and not a cute 4-year-old, you know, like that was awesome.
Yeah, it's like being an adult and getting chosen for the wand at Harry Potter. It's like, you don't expect it, doesn't happen.
But I think if you're first in line, you can kind of like guarantee it happens. Or, you know, if you have a cute kid who can wait the 10-15 minutes to be first, and that'll be a very special memory for them.
Yeah. Also, I don't think there was any especially cute kids that would have probably stolen the spotlight from you.
No, I don't think so. And yeah, also if you go early enough, it was just so efficient. Like we did Minnie and Daisy, that took a few minutes, and then you have to like exit through the gift shop, you circle back out and go back around, and there's like not a line. I think people are not prioritizing characters that early, so something to think about. Also, a new to us experience for characters at Magic Kingdom is Mirabel. So she is now meeting and greeting in the Fairy Tale Gardens area. This is previously where Merida lived, but now it's Mirabel. It's really cute, honestly, I like it a lot. They dressed it up sort of like the casita. You get to see the doors, you get to see the family tree. It's a really nice area. We watched the welcome show at Magic Kingdom, so that's, you know, 5 minutes before official park open, and then when that was done, just sort of scooted back in line. We're probably, I don't know, the 7th to 10th party. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we were definitely one of the first 10. Easily got there the first rotation, first shift, and yeah, the theming, like Jacqueline said, was really cool. Yeah,
the line didn't take too long, even though we weren't like properly first. And Mirabel's really spunky. She's super fun. Her costume is like picture perfect, screen accurate. It's gorgeous. So that's a really good interaction. It did seem like it got pretty popular. Like in later times of the day, she meets in sort of, you know, half-ish hour chunks, segments. And by the time you get to the afternoon, like that line got long.
Lots of little girls in their Mirabel dress.
So true. That part is also very fun. So yeah, I'm sad that Merida's not meeting there anymore, but the Mirabel meet and greet was really cute. And again, if you want to prioritize characters, I think if you get that done earlier in the morning, you won't spend very much time waiting around. And speaking of Merida, there was a chunk of time where she was apparently meeting back sort of by Ye Old Christmas Shop or back by Liberty Tree Tavern. There was like a little gondola there that she would meet and greet at. Apparently, as of October, says guest relations, that was no longer the case. So she got booted out of Fairy Tale Gardens to get transformed into the Mirabel area. She was hanging out sort of in that Liberty Tree Tavern area, but now the only place you can meet and greet her is Cinderella's Royal Table. So I'm glad that she's not just gone. I'm glad that you can meet her at all. I also think, at least in the US parks, this is the first time that Merida is doing character dining. It also might be the first time Pixar is doing character dining. I'm less certain about that, but it's pretty rare. When you think about character dining, you don't think about Pixar characters. It's pretty rare. So yay that she still is available technically for meet and greets, but it is behind that paywall and that reservation of Cinderella's royal table.
It's a travesty.
It's not great. I will also say I enjoy character dining because it is kind of that 2-for-1 situation where you're getting your meal and you're getting characters in at the same time. But my personal opinion and my personal experience is that for face characters, character dining is not as good as like their proper meet and greets. Like it's a little more rushed. They don't spend as much time talking to you. You obviously don't have PhotoPass or like their backdrop or themed area. So it's not my favorite. I think we've done Tusker House in the past, and so that's Mickey and Friends, and so fur characters. And there's only so much interacting you can do with them where that felt more akin to their normal meet and greets. But yeah, having met, you know, Jasmine in EPCOT and then also Jasmine at Cinderella's Royal Table, or Cinderella in Princess Fairy Tale Hall and Cinderella's Royal Table, the quality of the interaction, like for me personally, was not as high.
Yeah, it's definitely very much turn and burn kind of situation where they see how many tables they have to get through and they're just on a one-track mind, but being wholesome about it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, rightfully so, they probably spend more time at tables with larger parties and tables with more small kids. And mine's kind of just like, you know, in their princess version, like, hey, how are you? How are you doing? You want a picture? Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah, and then you have the character greets throughout the parks where it's like, you're in this room and there's like maybe 3 other parties total. They slowly let people in. It feels a little more intimate.
Yeah. So yay, Merida's still technically an option, but yeah, it's not the best. I don't think it's nearly as good as her Fairy Tale Gardens meet and greet used to be, and it comes at quite the price. We also did Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party this year, and we did end up doing 2 character meets. For the record, going into the party, I was pretty sure I wanted to do 100 Acre Woods Friends. I just love Pooh, Piglet, Tigger, Eeyore. They're like, that's my childhood. Some people grew up on, you know, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I grew up on Winnie the Pooh. So I really wanted to do that. We knew that was for sure. Then we also did end up meeting the 7 Dwarfs, which was kind of more happenstance. Like we didn't plan on our party being very character heavy. And I don't think 2 meet and greets is heavy, but it was more than we were expecting.
Yeah, and a lot of folks also had Pooh as a top priority. We tried to line up pretty much as soon as we got into the park for the most part.
No, we like went on Haunted Mansion. No, we like saw a cavalcade and went on Haunted Mansion and then went over. The plan was, so typically they start meeting at 6:30. The plan was to try to be in line around 5:45. I think we got there, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes after that.
Yeah.
Like a little late, but it wasn't bad. And so they didn't let people fully into the queue until much closer to time. So you're kind of sat along the wall outside of the teacups. And we were a little far back then. I was a little concerned. But once they let people in the line, it became pretty obvious that we really weren't that far back in the queue.
It was a very popular queue, though.
Yeah, the line did get long. I bet people do stand there for an hour. But I will say, at least for the folks ahead of us, I was really impressed with how efficient it was. And it felt like all the other guests in front of us were being really cognizant of everybody's party time. Like there were a couple of guests that were going slow and doing sort of like one by one, and rightfully so. They waited for that. They're absolutely allowed to do that. But a lot of people were just like, hugs, 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 picture, thanks, bye. So it went way faster than I thought it would.
A lot of respect for the people who dressed up as Pooh and Friends and then waited it out to meet up with Pooh and Friends.
Yeah, there were a lot of really cute group costumes, and then they got to see their other hats. I don't know. It's so precious and so charming. So yeah, we got out of that line by, I want to say 6:50.
Yeah, we really prioritized more some of the special like photo passes during the party, which took us over towards Storybook Circus where the 7 Dwarves were meeting, as well as a couple of the candy trails.
Yeah, and so the 7 Dwarves signpost said, I think 40 minutes. And at one point it dropped to even 25, which if you sort of pay attention to the chatter, 7 Dwarves typically is like, oh, you're gonna end up waiting an hour and a half for this. Like other than Jack and Sally, they have tended to be reported as like the most popular, but it wasn't really that bad. And then when we walked in there, it was posted at like 30 minutes and there were seriously like 3 groups in there. It was nothing. It was so fast. It was so quick and easy. Like what a shock. I never would have guessed. And so that meet and greet is not like the most fun because they're just sort of sitting there lined up and I don't know, we didn't even bother really trying to interact, I guess. Maybe that's on us, but you just we sat down and just like take a couple pics and off you go. I think, you know, Pooh and Friends are considerably more fun with their like personalities coming out. But very neat that we got to do that. And so if you are going to a party and there is a really in-demand character supposedly, I don't know, like ask around. Particularly I think a lot of the reports you see online are like from opening night, and the craze on opening night for anything is just not comparable to if you go 6 weeks into the event. Another fun thing we did at the Magic Kingdom, which was a first time for us, was Enchanted Tales with Belle. So this is kind of an interactive story time. You and the other guests can volunteer to be assigned parts in the story of Beauty and the Beast. And then the idea is you guys practice for a little bit and then you go and tell that story to Belle. So you're doing the story, but Belle is there. There's some really cool tech in terms of like a magic mirror and the wardrobe and Lumiere. So even, you know, if you aren't into characters, I actually thought it was pretty neat just to like do an experience and see the technology.
Yeah, it's definitely not just a meet and greet.
Oh, no.
It's very much just like almost like a ride, Beauty and the Beast ride to a certain extent. I
mean, it's an attraction. It's, you know, you're not in a vehicle, but yeah, I would say it's more of an attraction than a meet and greet even.
100%. And it's very much just like every, 15, 20 minutes there's a show?
Probably.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, so check the app. The app will tell you. Essentially, you're telling the story. A cast member is going to help like train you all to do your roles. They're going to pick mostly kids. There's like 2 roles for adults. Then you go into the library, Belle meets you, you tell the story to her. And then everyone who's in the story meets Belle. And then in our case, the show was running behind because they were having some technical issues, so they couldn't open on time. And so for us, everyone in the story met Belle, and then they're like, hey, bye! To the point where there were 2 girls who were actually in the story and they met Belle and got their picture, but then later wanted a hug, and the character attendant was like, no, sorry, she has to go to dinner with the Beast. Like, the small children got denied an extra interaction, much less like me, an adult patron that didn't participate in telling the story. Like, I did not have the opportunity to take a picture with Belle, which is a bummer because she's in her really good costume, but it is what it is. But I complained about this to some of my friends and they said, oh, that's not normal. Like usually they ask if anyone in the audience wants to come take a picture. So I think we got just particularly unlucky, but know that those things can happen. In better character luck news, I had a really great time with characters at EPCOT. Specifically our first day, I really wanted to rope drop meeting Moana. Leading up to our trip, which was October of 2023, Moana did have a standard meet and greet at Animal Kingdom, but I heard that that got pretty bad, like what you think of when you hear Moana meet and greet, AKA, you know, a 2-hour line and they cut it off. So I didn't really want to deal with that. And knowing that she had an area at EPCOT and knowing that we could reasonably rope drop EPCOT, like EPCOT opens later than Animal Kingdom, so it was less of a hassle for us to wake up in time to rope drop it. I figured let's try to rope drop and meet Moana at EPCOT and not waste 2 hours of our lives in line at the Animal Kingdom trying to meet her. So that worked out really well. We got there probably around 8:45. There was no line. I had to ask a cast member, like, where do I stand if I want to meet Moana? They hadn't put, you know, the times in her Meet Moana sign yet. So yeah, I was first, which is a great feeling.
While Jacqueline was waiting in line, I managed to go through the Journey of Water, which was also really cool.
Yeah, good for him. I mean, we went through it together later, but also, even though, yeah, I was standing there for, you know, 15 minutes or whatever waiting, which I think is a perfectly reasonable amount of time to meet a character, but the vibes standing there are great because you have the Journey of Water music piped in.
Yeah.
So I was having a grand old time, just like loving life, waiting for Moana to show up. She eventually rode her wave in and we had a really good, like pretty long, substantial interaction. I don't think I was hogging her time by any means, but she wasn't rushing through and, you know, trying to get me to take the next boat out.
Yeah, those Pacific Islanders just have that nice and easy vibe.
Yeah, for sure. The zoo that we live by recently got Kuni Kuni pigs, which is the same type as Pua. So I chatted with Moana about Pua. He doesn't have any other pig friends on the islands. He has to make friends with everybody else. So that's a bummer. We have 3 Kuni Kuni pigs and I assume that they're all friends. I hope they are. But yeah, we had a really good time. And I, again, just love being efficient with characters. I think you can stand in those lines for a solid 40 minutes. So I would rather waste 15 minutes being first and, you know, get my stuff done and be done with it than stand in the line for who knows how long. And it's especially painful when you get cut off, like right when you're in the next party. So that was our first day at EPCOT. We also went back a couple days later and I had prioritized characters again for our morning. So we rope dropped and went to Alice that time, whose set started at 9. And then between 9 and 11:30, I was able to meet Alice, Aurora, Belle, Mulan, and Jasmine. And then I could have gone straight to Anna and Elsa, but they were like 45 minutes or something. And I knew if I waited, it would come down. So we did, I think we just like grabbed lunch or went on a ride or something. And then we met Anna and Elsa. And so I got done with all of those before like 12:30.
Yeah, it's pretty empty, all things considered, in the World Showcase before like 1, really.
Yeah, I mean, definitely before 11 because, you know, like the food and wine aspects don't really start until 11.
Yeah, the characters are done meeting by like what, 3:34?
Yeah, most of their last sets are in the 3 o'clock hour.
Yeah, so even though most everything's closed, the characters are there, ripe for the interaction if you're willing to spend some time down there.
Yeah, and since a lot of people aren't around, I mean, especially when no one's out, like if you're gonna be first and wait for a character to come out, people have no idea why you're standing there. Like they just think that you're chilling or who knows. So it's not attracting a huge line. Once a character is out, you'll start to see the line explode, and that's way worse in the afternoon time than it is in the morning. So for sure, in terms of efficiency, like I said, I got done with pretty much everyone I wanted to meet in Epcot in a 3-hour time period. We did end up going back to meet Winnie the Pooh a different day, but I think had we wanted to tackle it during that time, we absolutely could have. I know character meet and greets aren't for everyone, but if you do want to give it a shot, you've probably seen this theme in the whole video where if you kind of decide to rope drop characters when everyone else is rope dropping attractions, it's just gonna go super smoothly for you. And to wrap things up, let's do favorites. So what were some of your favorite interactions?
I really enjoyed, of course, how everyone complimented your outfits, especially the princesses. Game recognizes game.
Yeah.
Someone has once famously said. So I really enjoyed that, as well as just how much effort a lot of the characters, face characters, put into being in character.
Being their authentic selves.
Exactly. And then just also, I really enjoyed how skillful all these characters were at doing autographs, and then also how unskillful some of them were.
Oh yeah, Belle seemed like maybe she hung out at Gaston's Tavern for a bit too long before we signed my postcard. But the rest were
very good, yeah.
Phenomenal, honestly. And there were some characters who, you know, we met in one place and then another place and then another place, and the consistency was like crazy, which makes sense because it's the same handwriting, because it's the same character doing it all the time.
Exactly. So I don't know if that is the best favorite answer. It's just all those little things, the little wholesome Disney magic that made all those interactions special. If I had to, I think, pick one character, I think we talked about how the Epcot, Mickey and Minnie were really good. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, I think probably the Hollywood Studios, Mickey and Minnie was really cool.
Yeah, they're really fun, and I think those sets are just like gorgeous. For me, my favorite probably was Cinderella and Princess Fairy Tale Hall, which is surprising to me because Cinderella is not my favorite princess by any means, but that interaction was awesome. We told her that we were going to go eat at her royal table. She was so excited to see us later. We were talking about sparkles. She showed me she has little tiny glass slippers like sewn into her dress. So that was awesome. I have met Cinderella many times. It's not dozens, but many times before, yeah. And like had never noticed that. It had never been pointed out to me. So every interaction is a little bit different, and I think that's what makes them so fun for me. And if you are nervous, like I get it, it's kind of weird as an adult, like going in and doing these things without a kid, and I'm pretty introverted. I certainly don't know improv. Like it's a little hard and awkward sometimes. So you can either sort of pre-plan what you want to talk about, which in many cases, the easiest thing is how is XYZ, like your sidekick or your love interest or whatever, doing? But if you don't want to pre-plan it, honestly, most of them will take the lead and you don't have to do a ton. So the amount that, you know, they'd grab my hands and go, oh, I love your outfit, or oh, your eyes are so sparkly, or oh, I see that, you know, you've got fire in your hair today, or whatever it is. Like they know what they want to talk about. They know who they are. They know their likes and interests. They'll prompt you with something. So, you know, give it a shot. I think even if you're not a character person, maybe try it. I do think it's easier to interact with the face characters, the princesses and such, than sort of your Mickeys and Minnies, because you do have to like mime things and try to understand what they're saying.
And also the chaotic energy of Chip and Dale is always a win.
That's fair, yeah. Chip and Dale are probably the most fun meet and greets like as a whole, because yeah,
they play off each other.
They're trouble. I did also really enjoy my Merida meet and greet just because she is my favorite princess, And when I was talking to her, I said, you know, you used to be in Fairy Tale Gardens, like I just saw you there not that long ago. And then I heard that you were out by Liberty Tree Tavern, but now you're here. And she said, yeah, well, she said it in her accent. I'm not going to try it, but she said, yeah, well, my mom wanted me to come here to the royal table to be around more princesses, right? To learn how to be princess-like, which I thought was so funny. It's so on point. Overall, we had a really good time. Characters is definitely something I prioritize, and I feel lucky that Adam is along for the ride and doesn't typically mind.
Yeah, I think that just planning our day out strategically and being efficient and do the things we want to do. That's why you go on vacation. And they are very fun, wholesome interactions. Sometimes not the most patient person waiting in line, but that's just Disney for you.
Yeah, and I think the characters for me at Disney are part of what makes Disney Disney. Like it's not, we don't meet characters at Universal, you know what I mean? But there's something about the Disney characters, not just their stories, but the way it's set up and yeah, how wholesome and great the interactions are that really makes me want to do it. We did have a 6-day ticket and then the party ticket, so basically 7 days. And I would guess that out of that 7 days, we probably spent about a day meeting characters.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. We did a bunch of stuff down at Disney, but if we were to add up all of our character time, it probably was like a solid 8-9 hours.
Yeah, it's not insignificant. I think even if you are doing it efficiently, if you're going to do more than a couple, it will add up. And if you have a longer trip that allows you to do that and you enjoy it like I do, then fantastic. But just know it's not fast. It's, you know, it's even like the attractions. You think that you see a 5-minute wait and you're like, great, I'll be on and off in no time. Well, it's a 5-minute wait and then you have to load and then you do the ride and then you unload, like all these things add up. Character meet and greets are similar. So nothing's super fast, but hopefully you can see from what we've told you today that there is a faster way to do it and you can have a really great time.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to have their moment in the sun. So when you see a line and it's like 5 people, or 5 parties, excuse me, depending on the size of those parties, it could be anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes for a party. 5 would be a crazy, huge party.
It can be less than 2 minutes sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. But
it
just
depends.
a lot of variability. So just be smart and you can be efficient.
Yeah, and if there are certain characters you want to meet, I would say try to rope drop them. Just go do them first before all the crowds get there and everyone's standing in that line because they see a character out that they want to meet. We hope you found this helpful. Let me know how you feel about character meet and greets down in the comments below. Like I said, I know that I'm like more on the unusual side of this for an adult, but I think, you know, it's part of the magic. It's you let go of your adult serious self. You're in Disney, you're having fun, you're living in their world, and what better way to live in their world than talk to them about their world?
Meeting characters, while not the number one reason why I enjoy going to Disney, I still really enjoy it. More often than not, I always leave with a smile on my face, even if I was just taking pictures of Jacqueline, because there was a photo box and no actual human person there to help you do it. So yeah, just all in all, it's just a great part of our trip.
Yeah, and I think character meet and greets, obviously I get a lot of joy out of them, but it's one of the places too where it's pretty easy to be standing in line and experience other people's joy. Sometimes you get some really cute overheards at character meet and greets, especially when kids are in front of you. So I don't know, I can't recommend it enough, honestly. If it's outside of your comfort zone, I would say maybe just give it a shot, go into it with an open mind and see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed all of the trip content, footage, recap, everything about it, planning videos. I really appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You can then ring the bell icon to receive notifications whenever I upload a new video. And thanks to everyone who's liked this video. May the rest of your day be magical, and we'll see you real soon at PixieDust PhD.
Bye. I got this dog.
Got this dog. I got this dog.